I'm the manager of a foundation located in the States. It's a center for political opening in the Middle East. And I'm here to tell you about a site that we've created with other organizations in Lebanon, Egypt, and we hope that we'll be able to develop in other Middle East countries.
Site has been to inspire women to achieve change in their communities, as you can see in the tagline. Our target audience are women in the Middle East, and what we wanted to do is bring the internet to them, to give them tools and connect them to materials and educational resources and e-learning that would help them take their dreams for change and put them into action. And actually yesterday, Phil Noble of Politics Online talked about a formula of hope plus action equals change, and that's exactly what we're trying to do with these women. So what you see here are pictures of the women in the computer labs where they took training courses. Many of these women never use the internet. Internet penetration is low, but it is growing fast. And for women,
so it's in Jordan and in Egypt.
We started this pilot in 2009 in Jordan and Egypt to test the courses. We designed an online course on how to create an activism plan. And so the women in computer labs took this course and they learn how to target an audience, how to develop a message, how to build coalitions. Most importantly, they learned how to use e-learning tools, and then they could go home. And even if they didn't have a computer at home, they might go to an internet cafe, and there are many internet cafes, and they could continue to take online courses on topics like message development, public speaking. They could enroll in a course from a university in the United States. We offered a graduate course on leadership, so some women could take that course. And they could work with experts from around the world to help develop their plans. And if you could scroll to the top of the page for a second, thank you, and click on success stories. There are stories there of what the women did with their training. And I hope people go to the site and view these amazing stories. Women who had dreams. Why don't you open the first one? Here's a woman who, she's interested in preserving Cairo's architecture. Cairo is a beautiful city. I actually think of it as Paris on the Nile. But of course there's a lot of environmental assaults on the city. And she was working on a project, and as she says here, we began our project with the wrong methods. She had not thought about the people that were affected and the shopkeepers. And one of the things she learned in the training was go to the people who will be effective, understand what matters to them. And so she turned her project around by getting the support of all the shopkeepers. And they got a petition, and they now have more support to bring restoration of Cairo. We have women in the project who worked on issues like domestic violence, the right to vote for women, corruption, better health care, a whole set of social and political issues. And one more thing I want to show you, these activist interviews, if you click on that. These are interviews. We have 16 interviews. It's loading. We're adding more. And these are women from all over the Middle East who have done activism work. And if you can filter by issue that they work on. You can also filter the videos, if you click on the next filter, by activism topic at the top. So messaging, leadership, exactly. So the idea here was to really inspire women and show them women just like them who made a big difference as activists. So this is basically the idea. The one part you can't see here is they would work with mentors using video conferencing tools. And these mentors really help them develop their plans. So thank you for giving me the time to describe it.
Thank you. Thank you, Elena. C'est intéressant. Ce que j'aimerais...
It's very interesting. What I would like to understand, actually, is how this site, which is really rich and interesting, how is this site linked to training centers in Jordania? How are you going to disseminate this project? Well, first of all, I'd like to tell you that you have the site in English, but it is also translated in Arabic. So the English site is just for people who do not understand Arabic to have an idea of what's going on the site. We worked with local partners, as I said, and we started by supplying courses on the use of the computers, because we know that most of these women are not used in using internet, but they are starting to use social networks such as Facebook, and we now hope that they will continue to recruit other women. But it is a mix. Do you have ambassadors for this project in Jordan? Well, yes, NGOs. We always work with local partners. I think this is essential. Even, in the internet era, you have to deal with people you know also. So we hope that progressively we'll have a mix of virtual promotion, but also via local NGOs who already have activist network. Political change in the Middle East. Do you think that women play a major role? I say that because we've seen a lot of women, and we know they are an essential factor, but could you tell us more? Well, we're also very interested in the youth, so we would like to extend this project to the youth, but there is something unique about women in the Middle East. The role of women is really critical to the economic development of the country. The literacy rate is closely linked to the economic level in one given country, and something that keeps the Middle East behind other countries, the fact that women are not educated enough, and women are going to have an impact on the next generations, are going to influence their children. So it's important to move forward in this field. Here you have a question: is internet the means to for women to express themselves from a political viewpoint throughout the world? Well, this question reminded me of something else. In societies such as in the Middle East, where women tend to take care of their family and not to work, it is not easy for them to travel. On top of that, these societies are rather conservative, and husbands or fathers do not really appreciate the fact that women go to follow classes along with men. So this kind of project enables women to work at home and to communicate with other women. And one of the things that women really appreciated was the fact that they were able to communicate with people in Jordan or in Egypt, but also with a professor located in Washington, D.C. And 2/3 of the bloggers are women, and in countries such as Saudi Arabia, where there are very few public forums where they can express themselves, where they do talk a lot about things that they will not be able to talk about in newspapers or in the public domains.
These women really have big issues at home that they care about, and their frustration is that they don't have a culture or venues where citizens participate in government. I mean, this is not something that really is encouraged by most governments in the Middle East. And I'm not saying this as an American. I'm quoting recently the UN Arab Development Report for the last 8 years, published by Arab scholars, has been talking about the lack of civic participation. So the issues were wide, but they all are local, and local ranging from, I would call, sort of social issues of health or women's rights or domestic abuse, some issues that are very unique to the Middle East, like honor killings, but also to some extent political. We saw many women with projects for voter registration or wanting to end apathy or issues of dialogue and understanding, particularly between Muslims and non-Muslims.